Hello, hello, hello. We're doing it again. We're doing it again. I'm sorry. For those of you who don't want to watch this, go and watch Prog Review 470, where I talk about this album. A morbidly obese version of me talks about this album. Or you can stay and watch the more sexually attractive version of me talking about this album before we are heading back to the 13th of July 1973 for Queen's debut album entitled Queen. This is the one from the Fancy Pants box set that you'll see. Whereas the other fella, I'll put a link. Maybe I'll put a link somewhere. He's looking at the CD. I haven't got that now. I sold it. I'm going to tell the. I'm just basically going to do what he said. But this Darren, they don't listen to him. Don't listen to Fat Darren. He's an idiot. Listen to Slim Darren. Listen to Type 2 Diabetes Darren. I was fat. I didn't have Type 2 diabetes then. Now I'm slim. Type 2 diabetes. How does that work? Oh, God. I can't remember. I can't remember anything. No, that's not the right start. Queen were my first love via Greatest Hits, then The Works. And then I think I went in chronologically. And when I was on holiday with my grandparents, I got a copy of this album at Boots the Chemist, because Boots the Chemist, where we went on holiday, had a record bar, and I bought a copy of it. And I didn't have a Walkman with me at that time, because I was still young, and I was like burning to listen to it. Oh man, I really want to listen to this new album. Well, it's not a new album, but I bought it new album on the Fame / Music for Pleasure imprint on cassette. More about that in a minute. And I was like, oh man, I really want to listen to this. And I waited like a fortnight to get home to listen to it, only to put it into my tape deck to find that the whole tape had been spooled wrong, and so it played backwards. Yeah, these things happen. You young folk with your streaming, with your Tidal and your Deezer, you wouldn't know the misfortunes we had. One, we had to pay for the bloody stuff, and two, sometimes technically it went wrong, and so there wasn't the local Boots stores where I lived. They didn't have a record bar, so now I had to wait another. I can't remember how many weeks. 4 weeks before we went to, I think it was Southend, and the Boots there had a record bar where my mum took it to them. I think I still had the receipt, funny enough. Oh look, the sun's come out. I'll turn it down, and then there we go, and then I'll go all dark in a minute. And she got it replaced, and so I got a version that was working. But it took ages. In those days, there was no instant gratification. We had to wait for our music, and I think that's what made it all the more precious. But this album, I know very, very well. It's kind of in my DNA. I don't need to listen to it that often. Like I say, it was released on the 30th of July 1973, produced by John Anthony. John Anthony, you know him. Because he produced people like Van Gogh Generator, Genesis, their first proper 2 albums, Peter Hamill, loads of people, Roxy Music. You know, he's been involved with loads of folks, and also this album, and of course also Roy Thomas Baker, who was heavily involved with Queen. Who also got the stick for the shit show that was Heaven and Earth by Yes. Steve Howe blamed it on Roy Thomas Baker, whereas we all know it was Steve Howe's fault. They handled the production qualities. It's 38 minutes 52 long, and for me, this record, this is the thing, right? The track listing. And when I put the record on or the CD on now, because I know the cassette was completely different. I'm going to show you that this is my old cassette, not the actual one. This is someone else's cassette, but this is what I owned, and the track listing's different. You see, completely different, utterly different to the actual track listing of this album, because the proper version ends with 7 Seas of Rye, and they swapped the other. I guess it must have been for like time purposes. And so whenever I listen to this album now, I feel like I don't know the album. It's odd because that running order is so ingrained into my psyche. It's not funny. So I put the record on. I think this don't feel right. This feels all wrong. Opens with the "Keep Yourself Alive," which is it's just great. And it opens with the chuggy guitars of Mr. Brian May. Again, there's lots of humour in it, and that's what you get with this record. They're a funny band. They're not. Oh no, I know they go on to be these pompous, very pompous, self-aggrandizing songs and everything. But there is a lot of humour in what they do. I mean, they're reverential, but not that reverential, if you know what I mean. And it's a good old track, and you get to hear Brian May ripping, that guitar sound. Again, Brian May as guitarist is somebody I've always admired, and always found fascinating. Just think he's a great player, and it's illustrated in this opening track. Should have been a big hit, should have been a hit, but it wasn't. But I think it was released as a single. I don't think it did anything. And if you read the reviews of this band at the time, they were universally hated. They were branded a knockoff of Led Zeppelin. Never really got that. Never really understood that comparison. But God, some of the early reviews, especially the live reviews, you just think, God, you'd read them and you'd give up. You go, God, I'm not doing that anymore. But thankfully, they didn't. They carried on. This is followed by "Doing All Right," which is I guess it's a ballad, and it was a co-write with Tim Staffel. Brian May and Tim Staffel wrote it whilst "Smile," which was like the embryonic Queen. So he gets the writing credit for that. I like the way it goes from being a ballad into the heavy rock guitar thing. Again, one of the noticeable things is you do feel like this is a demo album. Again, I think it's because the production is a little bit roughshod, and it's not as polished as their later records. And again, at the time when I loved it, I still love it. But as time goes on, you think, oh man, that sounds a little. See, the sound's going in. That sounds like they could have done that again. Should have shut the curtains. But I love that song. Great King Rat. I always say it's about my dad. But you get a lot of these songs bring in almost fairy tale qualities into them. Great fun. Again, there's humour in it. You're not going to stop, are you? Great deal of humour in it, and yeah, I just love it. And I love May's guitar solo, which has a wah wah pedals, wah wah rabbits on it, and good fun. And again, it's all wrong compared to my tape version. This is followed by "My Fairy King." Again, Mercury and his sister created this fantasy world, which is referenced in "My Fairy King," "Seven Seas of Rhye," parts of Queen 2, "Lily of the Valley" as well. I think is all part of this world that him and his sister, created when they were kids. And so you have this fantasy world, very fairy tale kind of thing going on. It's all right. But what you begin to hear, he says, changing the contrast again. Who else does this? Multitasking. But you hear the glimpse of their future production with the multi-layered vocals and the operatic style and the falsettos, and you can hear them. You can hear it there. Flip it over, because we've got the record. I'll show you the record in a minute. "Liar," which again it's about guilt, and I see "Liar" as being a precursor to like some of the themes in Bohemian Rhapsody. It's that thing about you'd live in a double life, or people don't believe you. The boy who cried wolf. That's the kind of the kind of story it is. Somebody who's made a mistake and has never been allowed to, be forgiven for it. And then, yeah, it's quite it's almost baroque, isn't it? It's got this kind of really strange feel to it, but I like it. Oh man, should have shut the curtains. This will be great. Don't worry, I'm leaving this in. Followed by Night Comes Down. Again, it's another ballad. References Lucy in the Sky. Lucy was high and so was I. Really like it. And there's a great version on Queen at the Beeb, which is probably about there somewhere on the shelf. I don't know. I'll show you in a minute. Again, it's a great song. Love it. Followed by Modern Times Rock and Roll, which is they go punk. The Queen go punk. It's good fun, and it's also very humorous. And on the Queen at the Beeb version, I think Roger Taylor sings, "It's not that I'm bright, just happy-go-lucky," which I think they should have kept in on the album version, and it's really good fun. Son and Daughter, well, again, I don't think you can. That's an interesting one. I really like it. It's sleazy, it's dirty, it's sexy. This is a band that fucks. And because all rock and roll is about fucking. An English teacher said that to me when I was a teenager. She said that to me. Made me feel a bit odd. But and she was considerably older than me. Darren, all rock and roll is about fucking. I went, oh, okay. As I backed out of the room, are you trying to seduce me, Mrs. Robinson? Son and daughter, trying to be a son and daughter rolled into one. Again, it's playing with the gender fluidity and, I want you to be a woman. Is he referring to a man? Are we talking about backdoor shenanigans? That's up for you to decide, but I like it. It's dirty. It's what rock and roll should be. It's dirt. We're in the dirt, and they follow this with Jesus, a song about Jesus, Christ, Jesus of Nazareth himself. Oh, Robert Powell. Yeah, very, very strange that they should do this. Very, very strange. But I love the last phrasing of the all going down, because it kind of goes going down. It is kind of negative down, like it's all been for nothing. It's all a negative thing. But yeah, very strange. Maybe Queen inadvertently created Christian rock with this song. I don't know. But the lyrics are a bit clunky. I don't know. It's probably the weakest track on the album. A bit of filler. And then we have Seven Seas of Rye, which should have really ended the second side, but we're talking about the actual album and the CD, not the cranky old Fame Music for Pleasure tape that I had as a kid. He says, referring to that tape. Look how it's all different. Ends with son and daughter. That works. That works as well. Dun, 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 dun. So yeah, Seven Seas of Rye. Again, I knew the song through Greatest Hits, and hearing this again, it's like hearing a demo. It's like peeking behind the curtain. I always found it fascinating, and there's that little John Deacon bass line that goes do 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 do, which just love that. It's melodic, it's playful, and just again, John Deacon is one of the greats. He's one of the great bass players. Not heavy enough for a bass player, as Entwistle said in that interview, but. Yeah, he's a great player, and much missed in the rock arena. But I just love that little bit of bass, and so that is Queen's debut album. It's not perfect. It's a bit rough and ready. It needs a bit of polish. But if you want to hear really good versions of those songs, he says, swinging round so I know exactly where it was. I actually pointed to exactly the right place. Queen at the Beeb, which is just one of my favourites. Right? I bought this when it came out. all those years. You got My Fairy King, Keep Yourself Alive, Doing All Right, Liar, Ogre Battle, Great King Rat, Modern Times, Rock and Roll, Son and Daughter. So you got one there from Queen too, as well. But it's from the, I think it's from BBC Sessions, obviously, and it's really good. If you want to hear good rocking versions of the stuff from Queen 2, I think it's essential. This was reissued. Well, not reissued. No, they did an expanded version of it a few years back. Look how that CD's gone gold. Look at that. Look at that. Ooh, I hope that's all right. I wonder if it still plays. Ooh, is that a bit of laser rot on it? I don't know. Is it just a bit of muck? Is that a bit of... I don't know. I don't dare to think what that is. It's funny because it looks a lot worse on... Oh dear. Oh, that don't look good. Well, good job I got it on vinyl as well, isn't it? Anyway, I can't help myself. But yeah, go and check that out. Because those recordings are really good, and I think they do the songs a lot more justice, don't you know? So yeah, let's have a look at the... this is what was in that box set. You've already seen it before if you've seen me undo the box set. This was reissued. This was brought out in 2015, though it's been reissued a number of times since then. I think you can buy them separately. It comes with an inner bag with the lyrics on. Look at that. I don't see that. But they also give you a poly bag as well. There's a little poly bag. I think it's going to fall off. See? And it's got like the old EMI logo as well. Look at that. And it's on lovely purple vinyl. Wow, but I've touched it now, so that means it's ruined. And I can never get any enjoyment from it ever again. Despite what some people say, the represses are really good. I like them. Yeah, so don't listen to those idiots. Listen to me, because I'm the man who knows what's what. So that was it. I love it. I think it's a great record. And again, if you listen to the band, especially the first 4 albums, you see this band growing in confidence and just trying all different things. Very experimental, very progressive. I know many of you will balk at the idea that Queen could be progressive in any way, but they were, once they got into the studio and had all the studio time that they needed, they just pull out all the stops, and that's what makes them a really interesting band. And my God, so much better than Led Zeppelin. But that's my hot take. Thanks for watching. My name's Darren Lock. I've been talking about Queen's debut album from 1973. Queen, simply called Queen. There you go. It's even got Queen written on the top there, look. So you know. Isn't that weird? It's on the top of the spine. That's how pioneering they were. Thanks for watching. The one more thing left to say is ta-da.